Hola, mi nombre es Arturo Bella Escobar, matrícula A0121-5602 y yo voy a hablar del dilema ético. The ethical dilemma presented in this case, or any biting wars case, pretty much are the same. There are three levels in which it affects or can create a dilemma, and those are ethical, legal, and economical. In the ethical ways, it can be very related to the legal as well, and it's when they're trying, when a city, a state, or some entity is trying to win a bidding war, they will try to offer subsidies or some other concessions, such as real estate, and they may come off as bribes or maybe not a bribe, but offering something more, which is out of the law, out of the things that are established. You can bid on or bid with. And this is like the main issue in the ethical and legal particularly in the ethical, because you will be offering something that might not be illegal, but it's unethical to offer it because you're offering way beyond what is supposed to be. And it can be for personal purposes as well, such as gaining elections or bringing in some capital. In the legal um, dilemma, you can also find, besides bribes and corruption, that sometimes companies, as they offer something very strong and very that could be very successful to the city or state, they might put some points in their contracts where they are very advantageous for them and not for the state, which may repercute then in the economical issue. For example, once they have fulfilled their legal obligations, they could abandon the project, as it happened in this particular project, and leave the economical situation in the city or state where they were building or developing a project very poor, since they invested all of their oil or most of their capital in developing and helping the project. And since the company has already fulfilled its legal obligation, there would be a dilemma whether, if it's not being successful or profitable, should they continue even though they will be losing money or not winning as much, or should they just abandon since they have already fulfilled their legal obligations? Our conclusion was that people should get a little more involved. Maybe a vote would be too hard to have every time you're having a bidding war, because there's millions of citizens between all the cities participating, but they should get a little more involved or asked, and there should be some established limits as how much a town can offer or a city can offer, depending on its financial situation and other details in their economic resources, for example. Thank you very much.
Hi, today I'm going to talk to you about a case of an ethical dilemma that happened here in Mexico City that also involves Hard Rock Cafe. The rights to use this name, the name of Hard Rock, were bought by a group of Seminole businessmen in 2006 or 2007. Their decision or the main plan is to expand this business of Hard Rock, but to focus on casinos and major resorts. Mexico is a major destination for tourism, especially American tourism, in our beaches like Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Los Cabos. And they thought that in order to move on with this business, they had to get rid of the restaurant that was established here in Mexico City in 1989 by a group of music and business enthusiasts who bought the rights to use the name Mexico City as a restaurant. And they had already had some financial problems before this group of people bought Hard Rock, the main company. But also the Seminole Group forced the Mexican businessmen to substitute the merchandise they sold, which was made here in Mexico, to substitute it with Chinese merchandise of less quality, and they had to buy it at a higher price. So, of course, merchandise being so important for the revenues of a hard rock restaurant, they affected them even more deeply. And finally, they forced them to change their supply chain of local suppliers uh, for foreign raw materials, which also increased their costs. So finally, they thought that the best decision was to close the business. And finally, in 2013, a Hard Rock Cafe here in Mexico City closed. It was an important venue for young musicians who love to play rock or blues and make some presentations there on Fridays and Saturdays. And was this unethical? Yes, because this Mexican group of entrepreneurs and businessmen bought the rights to run this restaurant over 25 years ago, but it was not illegal. In fact, the Seminole Group also had several lawsuits against the Mexican corporation. So there was a strategy to get rid of the restaurant and to expand the business in the casinos and the hotels here in Mexico. And it was a very sad news for many of us who love music. And it was we all have a sense of that it was a sense of injustice. That it was not fair that they were forced to close the restaurant. But unfortunately, sometimes business works this way uh, with unethical decisions or unethical strategies that can be legal but still unethical. So that's major conclusion reached that um, sometimes law can promote these unethical strategies, which is extremely sad. Thank you.